Hello students, welcome to the fifth lecture of this lecture series on transformer basics and transformer design. In last lecture, I have covered the equivalent circuit of the transformer and the equations of the transformer when transformer is connected across the load. So later students, we will revise those concepts again in the few minutes. So while developing the equivalent circuit of the transformer, first of all, we have assumed the ideal transformer M. M is the ideal transformer here. So what is ideal transformer? Ideal transformer is nothing but a transformer with no losses, no magnetic leakage, and it have a iron core of infinite permeability requiring very small magnetizing current to set up the flux. Then to this ideal transformer, we have added the different imperfections of actual transformer by adding some circuits or impedances or inserting them between the supply terminals and the primary winding and between secondary terminals and the load which is connected across the transformer. So here in this equivalent circuit, R1 X1, R2 X2 represent the resistance and leakage reactances of primary and secondary of the actual transformer in lumped form. Similarly, to take into account for the no load current I0 of the actual transformer, a shunt circuit consisting of R0 and X0 is introduced such that my E1 upon R0 is equal to the core loss component of the no load current and E1 upon X0 is nothing but the magnetizing component of your no load current. So what is IC and I magnetizing? These are the two quadrature components, namely the core loss component IC and the magnetizing component IM or I magnetizing of the no load current I0 of actual transformer. So the circuit is so developed, thus has the electrical characteristics which are similar to that of your actual transformer. Hence that circuit is called as the equivalent circuit. So if I connect load across the secondary, then in secondary also current I2 is circulated and that current again passing through your R2 and X2. In secondary, the mutual induced EMF E2 is produced and from this E2, some drop will take place in these two components and remaining voltage will be available across the load, and that voltage is nothing but your voltage developed across the load V2. Then we have seen the different equations, those we have written from the equivalent circuit. So before going to the phasor diagram of the transformer on load, first of all we'll revise those equations. So first of all I will draw the phasor diagram for the inductive load. So while starting the phasor diagram of transformer for inductive load, first of all I will write down the equations, those are necessary for drawing the phasor diagram. So from equivalent circuit of the transformer, I can write down my first equation. V2 is nothing but vector sum of E2 and the impedance drop on the secondary side. This I have written from this. So what is your V2? V2 is nothing but E2 minus drop across this impedance. What is drop across this impedance? It is nothing but I2 into R2 plus JX2. This is the drop across this impedance, right? Then let us give this equation as equation number 1. Equation number 1. Then again we have seen that when my secondary is connected across load, to neutralize the demagnetizing effect of secondary current I2, primary draws some additional current. Primary draws some additional current I2 dash in antiphase with I2 such that N1 into I2 dash equals to N2 into I2, and this I2 dash is nothing but load component of your primary current. So from this equation I can write down my I2 dash is equal to N2 upon N1 into I2. So let us give this equation as equation number 2. These equations are helpful for developing the phasor diagram of the transformer on load. Now, as seen in this figure, your primary current has two components. Your I1 is vector addition of no load current I0 and the load component of your primary current, that is I2 dash, which is used to neutralize the effect, demagnetizing effect of secondary current I2, right? So here I can write down third equation, I1 is equal to I2 dash plus I0. So again let this equation as equation number 3. This primary current I1 causes voltage drop in the resistance R1 and leakage reactance X1 of the primary winding. So there is some drop which takes place in this two component, that is equals to I1 into R1 plus JX1, right? Yes. So what equation I can write down? V1 is equal to E1 minus E1 plus I1 into this R1 plus JX1. So I can write down, so the primary impressed voltage V1 is nothing but phasor addition of minus E1. Why minus E1? Because this is the part of applied voltage which is balancing the E1. That's why it is called as minus E1, and drop across I1 R1 and I1 X1. So I can write down V1 is the vector sum of minus E1. Why minus E1? For this I can give you explanation in the two way. Why minus E1? Because E1 is the part of applied voltage which is balancing the E1, or according to Lenz's law, the direction of E1 is such that it will oppose the cause of producing it. What is the cause? Cause is nothing but the applied voltage. So it is written as minus, means negative sign that of your voltage, plus I1 into R1 plus JX1, or I can write down this as V1 equals to minus E1 plus I1 Z1. Let us give this equation as equation number 4. So dear students, please don't frightened about the phasor diagram of the transformer. These 4 equations are enough for developing the phasor diagram of the transformer on load. So now let us draw the phasor diagram of the transformer on load. First of all, I will assume that my load which is connected across the secondary is inductive in nature and having the power factor cos phi 2. So my load is inductive. And what is the power factor? Power factor is equals to cos of phi 2. So let us draw the phasor diagram. While drawing the phasor diagram, just remember one thing, that when I have taught you the phasor diagram of the ideal transformer, what is the reference vector I have taken? I have taken a reference vector V1. Means we have started from the source side. But students, for better analysis of the transformer, when we have to draw the phasor diagram of the transformer on load, it is better for us to draw the phasor diagram including all the quantities of the equivalent circuit, and that should be from the load side towards the source side. So on the load side, what is the first component? It is nothing but the voltage V2. So V2 I will take as a reference vector. Now remember one thing, whatever the quantities I will take on the primary side, I will draw that with the red color, and the quantities on the secondary side I will draw with the black color. As we are starting from the secondary side, I will take V2 as a reference vector. So V2 I will mark as a reference vector. So this is my V2. V2 is nothing but my reference vector. Now the load is inductive in nature. So the current flowing through the inductive load lags the voltage by angle phi 2. So this is your I2, which is lagging V2 by angle phi 2. Angle phi 2. Let us, I have to insert some space between these two. So I will just make space so that other quantities you can see properly. Now on the secondary side, again come to this equivalent circuit. Now where drop will takes place? Drop will takes place in the secondary resistance and the secondary leakage reactance, means secondary winding resistance and secondary winding reactance. So starting with voltage V2 that I have taken as a reference vector, my I2 drawn lagging behind V2 by angle phi 2, and the magnitude of this I2 is decided by my load impedance. What is my load impedance? R2 plus JX2. So now I will draw I2 R2 phasor which is in phase with the current I2. So from the tip of V2, let us draw I2 R2 phasor which is in phase with current I2. So this vector is nothing but your I2 into R2. Now I will draw I2 X2 drop, I2 X2 drop which will lead my I2 by 90 degree, right? So this I2 X2 I will draw leading 90 degree to the current I2. And phasor addition of my I2 R2 and I2 X2 is nothing but I2 Z2. I2 Z2. What is my first equation? What is my first equation? V2 is E2 minus I2 into R2 plus JX2. Means if I add this impedance drop in V2, what I am going to get? It is nothing but the mutual induced EMF in the secondary. So now I will take vector sum of V2 and I2 Z2 so that we will get E2, that is mutually induced EMF induced in the secondary winding, right? Who is responsible for producing this EMF? It is nothing but the flux which is linking through to the winding through the magnetic core. So this flux should lead to this EMF by 90 degrees. So I will show the flux 90 degree ahead, that of your E2. So this is nothing but flux phi. Who is producing this flux? I magnetizing. So in primary there are two components of your no load current, IM and core loss component IC, and vector sum of your core loss component and magnetizing component is nothing but I naught, which is leading to this flux by some angle, right? Because this current is very small, so I will draw here this as a I naught, this as a I naught. Now these are all secondary side quantity. This is your primary side quantity. So let us draw this in red color. So just 1 minute. Give me 1 minute. I will draw this with the red color. So this is your I naught. This is your I naught. Okay. Now then again look at this. After this what is there? E1. Now we have to draw the E1. Now the EMF E1 is in time phase with E2. So I will draw E1 in time phase with E2. So this is your E1. So the load component I2 dash of your primary current to neutralize the demagnetizing effect of I2 is drawn opposite to that of I2. Opposite to that of I2. So here I will draw I2 dash. What is I2 dash? I2 dash is nothing but load component of your primary current to neutralize the demagnetizing effect of current in the secondary winding, that is I2. So opposite to that of that to the I2 I have drawn the I2 dash. Now student, come to the second equation, third equation that we have seen. What is V1? Fourth equation. What is V1? It is nothing but minus E1 plus I1 Z1. So here I will take this E dash on this side. I will take this E dash on this side. So let us draw the E1. We have drawn the E1, just I will take opposite vector of that E1, which is nothing but minus E1. Again I will repeat all the steps. So the I0 is drawn here such that the magnitude is equal to the current taken by the primary when the transformer is on no load, and the angle of lag of I0 behind minus E1, right, is assumed to be equal to the angle between the primary impressed voltage V1 and the no load primary current. What is no load primary current? It is nothing but the I0, right? So when I2 is equal to 0, at that time whatever the current primary will take, that is nothing but your no load current I0. So I0 is drawn in such a way that its magnitude is equal to the current drawn by primary when transformer is on no load. Now let us add the drops in minus E1 so that we can get the applied voltage V1. So the resistance and reactance drop I1 R1 and I1 X1 are drawn in phase with the current I1 and leading I1 by 90 degree respectively. Now how to draw the I1? Come to this equation. What is I1? I1 is nothing but the vector sum of, what is I1? I1 is nothing but vector sum of your I2 dash and it is vector sum of I2 dash and I0. So let us take the vector sum of I2 dash and I0. So I will draw one line from the I2 dash which is parallel to I2 dash like this, and I will draw one line from I2 dash tip which is parallel to I0, and in this way I will take the vector sum. So this will be your I1, this will be your I1. What is this current? This current will be your I1. Okay. Now parallel to this I1, I will mark I1 R1 draw. Parallel to this, I will draw the I1 R1 drop. So from this parallel to this I1, I will draw I1 R1 draw. Then perpendicular to this I1 and leading to the I1 by 90 degree, I will draw I1 X1 draw, and vector sum of both is nothing but, sorry students, vector sum of both is nothing but your I1 Z1, right? And vector, come to this equation again, minus E1 plus I1 Z1, you will get the V1. So just vectorially add minus E1 and I1 Z1. What you are going to get? V1. And the angle between my I1 and V1 is nothing but the power factor angle on the primary side. So what is power factor on the primary side is nothing but cosine of angle phi 1. Cosine of angle phi 1. So finally we got the primary impressed voltage V1 by taking the phasor addition of your minus E1 and I1 Z1. So this figure shows you the complete phasor diagram of a transformer when it is connected across the inductive load. In the same way, same method can be used for constructing the phasor diagram of the secondary load of any nature. So let us now draw the phasor diagram for the resistive load. Let us draw the phasor diagram for the resistive load. So here again I will take V2 as a reference vector. Sorry, I will take this as a black color for the primary side quantities. So V2 I will mark as a reference vector for resistive load when your transformer is connected across the resistive load, right? So now where I have to show I2 for resistive load, current is always in phase with the voltage. So this is your I2. This is your I2. Now what is your first equation we have seen? The first equation we have seen that E2 is nothing but vector addition of V2 and the impedance drop in the secondary winding. Right? So what is I2 Z2 is nothing but I2 R2 plus I2 JX2. Right? So just I will mark I2 R2 in phase with I2 R2 in phase with I2. Then I will draw I2 X2 leading to the I2 by 90 degrees. So this is your I2 X2. Let us rub this equation so that we will not get confused for this. Just I will remove this equation from here and I will continue the diagram. Now what is vector sum of your V2 and I2 R2, I2 X2 is nothing but your E2, or we can say that vector sum of V2 and I2 Z2 is nothing but E2, right? So first equation got satisfied. Now let us mark the flux. Flux will lead to this EMF by 90 degree. So the angle between my flux and E2 is nothing but 90 degree. Right? According to Faraday's law. Now let us now draw the primary side quantities with the red color. So now on primary side, first of all I will show E1. So E1 is in phase with E2. So I will show E1 in phase with this is your E1. This is your E1. So now what I will do? So finally we have to add minus E1 to I1 R1 and I1 X1 to get the impressed voltage V1. So for that purpose I will take a vector which is in anti-phase with your E1. So just I will draw this as a minus E1. Minus E1. Right? Now let us draw I0, which is nothing but vector sum of your IC and I magnetizing. Where I magnetizing I should draw? Here. So this is your IM or I magnetizing. And what is this is nothing but this one is nothing but your IC. So for better understanding I have not made this circuit complicated, so just I have drawn I naught only. I will delete this IC and I magnetizing so that you will not get confused. Okay, so now we have to find out I1. What is I1? I1 is nothing but vector sum of your I naught and I2 dash. How to draw I2 dash? I2 dash is nothing but load component of your primary current, which is equal and opposite to that of your I2. So this is your I2 dash. And vector sum of my I2 dash and I naught is nothing but I1. So I will take vector sum of I2 dash and I naught so that I will get I1. So this one be your I1, vector sum of I2 dash and I naught. Then what I will do now? Now to the minus E1 vectorially I will add I1 R1 and I1 X1 drop so that I can get the applied voltage. So in parallel with the I1 from the tip of E1 I will draw I1 R1 vector. I1 R1 vector. So this one be your I1 R1 vector. Then perpendicular and leading to this my I1 I will draw I1 X1 vector. I1 X1 vector. I will draw I1 X1 leading to the current I1 by 90 degree. So this is your I1 X1 and vector sum of I1 R1 I1 X1 is nothing but I1 Z1. I1 Z1 and vector sum of minus E1 and I1 Z1 is nothing but our V1. Angle between V1 and I1 is nothing but phi 1. This angle is nothing but phi 1. And cosine of angle between V1 and I1 is nothing but the power factor on the primary side. Power factor on primary side. In the same way, we can draw the phasor diagram for the capacitive load. So let us draw the phasor diagram of transformer on capacitive load. Means when the capacitive load is connected across secondary winding of the transformer, how to draw the phasor diagram. So in this again I will take V2 as a reference vector. V2 as a reference vector. Let us take the black color so that you will understand it properly. So my V2 will be taken as a reference vector. Right. Now as the load is capacitive, my current will lead to the voltage by some angle. So I will show the current leading to the voltage V2 by angle phi 2. So this is your current I2 leading to the voltage by angle phi 2. Right. Now in parallel with I2, I will mark I2 R2 drop. I2 R2 drop. And perpendicular to I2, I will show I2 X2 drop. Perpendicular to I2, I will show I2 X2 drop. Vector addition of my I2 R2 and I2 X2 is nothing but I2 Z2. This is your I2 Z2. Right? And vector sum of I2 Z2 and V2 is nothing but the mutual induced EMF in the secondary when it is connected across the capacitive load. Again, what is the next step? Now we will draw the flux which is leading to the E2 by angle 90 degree. right, by 90 degrees. So this is your flux vector which is leading to E2 by 90 degree. Then I will mark I naught which is leading to this flux by very small angle. So this is your I naught. What is I naught? No load current of the transformer. Means when your secondary is not connected across any load at that time, whatever the current primary will draw, that is nothing but I naught. Now when load is connected, in addition to no load current, my primary will draw some extra current so that it will neutralize the demagnetizing effect of your current flowing through the secondary winding. So that component of your primary current is nothing but I2 dash, which is also called as load component of your primary current. So that is equal in magnitude to your secondary current but is opposite in the direction. So I will mark this I2 dash on this side. So this is your I2 dash, which is equal to I2 dash but opposite in the direction. And vector sum of this I2 dash and I naught is nothing but your I1, current I1. This one be your I1. This one be your I1. Now see students, now what we have to do? Now we have to find out the primary side quantities. Now let us draw the primary side quantities with the red color. The EMF. First of all, I will draw the self-induced EMF in the primary coil which is in phase with your secondary EMF. So this is your E1. Then I will take this E1 vector on this side in anti-phase with that. So it will become minus E1. Now from the tip of minus E1 in parallel to I1, I will draw I1 R1 drop. So in parallel to I1, just like this, I will draw I1 R1 drop. Then perpendicular to I1, I will draw I1 X1 drop. I1 X1 drop. Vector sum of your I1 R1 and I1 X1 is nothing but I1 Z1. I1 Z1. And vector sum of minus E1 and I1 Z1 is nothing but your V1, primary voltage given across secondary. And angle between V1 and I1, this angle, this small angle, that is nothing but phi1. And cos of this phi1 is nothing but the power factor on the primary side. Power factor on the primary side. Student, you should note that the no load current I0 is of very small magnitude in comparison to the total primary current on the full load. So if we neglect the no load current I naught, so what I can write down? I can write down my I1 is equal to I2 dash. If I neglect the I naught, which is very small, therefore I can write down N1 I1 equals to N2 I2. N2 I2. And hence I can write down I1 I2 equals to N2 upon N1. Means that the primary and secondary currents are inversely proportional to their respective turns. The primary and secondary currents are inversely proportional to their respective turn or respective winding voltages. right? So this is all about the phasor diagram of the transformer on load, and the phasor diagram will change according to the nature of the load. So thank you student. In next lecture I will teach you how to simplify the equivalent circuit of the transformer for further analysis. So thank you students once again. If you like this lecture, please don't forget to like, share and subscribe my YouTube channel. Thank you.